Bum 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 a clang lang lang a ding along ding dong blue blue blue.
Hold up the car, stop the traffic, get out the barricades. It's time for Mickey B's Jukebox Review.
Rock and roll is here to stay, he'll never let it die. Right here on the radio, that's the reason why. It's Mickey for you and he'll go down in history.
You're with Mickey B here on the Jukebox Review, another Tuesday night on Madhouse TV, of course, with the Prince of Rock and Roll and my historian, Mr. Paul Aranti. Paul, you know, I'm looking at this book of 1959.
Yes, that's what we're going to be talking about tonight.
You know how old I was?
How old were you?
That was my bar mitzvah year.
So 13, right?
13 years old. 59 was a great year. They tell you about the milestones, memories, trivia, facts, and all.
Right.
You're the historian, right? So I'm going to ask you a couple of questions. here.
Okay.
See what you know about, okay? The first thing is, let me see, 1959, great year. And, hey, look at this. Well, that doesn't tell me anything at all. America's first team of astronauts.
Yes.
You know any of them that took off that day?
No,
There
I
was
don't know
seven.
the first one,
Listen,
no.
there's 7 astronauts, and Project Mercury, manned space program, were named by NASA. And you know who they were? Scott Carpenter. Remember that name?
Yes.
Gordon
Okay.
Cooper, John Glenn,
Oh,
Kim
wow,
Seminole
yeah.
later on, right? Gus Grissom, Walter Shearer, Alan Shepard, and Deke Slayton. How's that?
Wow.
Now, you know the year of the Sputnik.
Yes.
That wasn't 59.
No.
That was 58.
Right, that was the year before.
Tell me,
exactly.
what do you know about 1959?
I know a lot of great television shows came out that year, like Ozzie and Harriet.
Yeah, Ozzie and Harriet, great show.
Yes.
There was the father, of course, was Ozzie Harriet.
Right.
Then you had
Ozzie
also
Harriet, you mean Ozzie Nelson?
yeah, Ozzie Nelson, yeah, and Harriet, his wife.
Right.
And what were the sons' names?
Ricky and Dave.
And what about the other son? He was a
Really?
wrestler. You didn't know him?
No, I don't know what was his
Yeah,
name.
half Nelson. Yeah. But you never saw him too much because he was always beneath the camera. You know? But anyway, what are the TV shows?
Make Room for Daddy.
Oh, I used to love that. Danny Thomas, Marlo
77
Thomas was in there, right?
77 Sunset Strip.
That was Kooky Burns.
Right.
And you know who his co-star was?
Who, Connie Stevens.
Connie Stevens. I loved her.
She's a
She had that
beautiful
song,
woman.
16 Reasons. 16
Yes.
Reasons Why I Love You. Remember that?
And also a lot of big game shows, with, like To Tell the Truth was out in 59. And,
Oh, To Tell the Truth. Yeah, that was great.
And Queen for a Day.
Oh, Queen for a Day. He
And
used to sit down and, oh, and what was that the show? That was Your Life?
This Is Your Life with
Was
Groucho
that,
Marx.
no, not that
Oh,
one.
that's
The
Your
other
Bet Your Life. Sorry.
one. Bet Your Life. Yeah, get your secret word and come on down, right? With the
Right,
duck.
right,
Yeah, yeah.
right.
A lot of great shows.
Yeah, also the westerns too. Half Gun Will Travel and Bonanza
Yeah.
was big in 59.
Yeah. Great songs in 1959.
Oh, a lot of great songs.
Yeah.
You know what the biggest trend of the year music was the Teen Idol. That was the big thing in 59. A lot of Teen Idols.
A lot of Teen Idols. So maybe we could do a couple of the Teen Idol songs tonight.
Definitely.
But I'm going to tell you one song that I know came out in 59.
Okay.
I re-recorded it. I met the gentleman, and I told him I re-recorded the song. He says, I hope you have a lot of success like I did. You know what his name was?
Frankie Ford.
Frankie Ford.
Now this song, just a little bit of this. This was a different type of sound because this is more of like a rock and roll country sound that Frankie Ford had.
Yeah. Well, Frankie was great.
He was great.
Played the piano. Always wore that scarf around his
Yes,
neck with a
piano
keyboard.
scarf.
Like
Yep,
a
that
keyboard,
was his
right?
trademark thing.
Not only was he a great singer, he was a great comedian as well.
Oh, he's a funny
on the
guy.
stage.
And off the cuff stuff, it was off the top of his head. He had some really funny jokes he's doing the shows.
Are you ready for a little Frankie Ford?
Yes.
Let's go back, 1959. But he does it again later on in
Right,
shows.
this is
Yeah.
this clip is actually from a rockabilly festival. They do it every year in Iowa.
Okay.
It's from a couple of years
And
ago.
that's where it was?
Yep.
Watch him right now.
Frankie
Right here
Ford.
on Madhouse TV with Mickey B, the Prince of Rock and Roll. Here's Frankie Ford.
Second, so we can't get
happen to love that sound, Sea Cruise.
Me too.
It really gets you rocking. You know, it's the kind of music we need on those ships when they pull out to sea.
Yes.
You know, Frankie Ford, he does a great job. And he also has that great operatic voice.
He does some.
Sings a lot of great songs with that opera voice in there. He's just a tremendous guy. Now, let me ask you something. 59, great year for TV.
Right.
A lot of country westerns came out.
That was the big thing.
But
Yep.
what was the first country western song to be, country western movie, a TV show, to be broadcast in color?
Bonanza.
Bonanza, how'd you know that?
Because I know everything.
You know about this
history.
stuff, huh?
Yeah.
Do you
what
know
was his
also-
name? Lorne Green was the star of Bonanza. and
That's right.
Michael Landon was in
Michael
that
Landon
too.
was in there, too. That's right. And who was the big guy with the big hat on his head? What
I
they
know.
call him? What they call him, that big guy? Hutch? Hoke. No, Hoke?
Something like that.
What was his name? A horse. They called him Horse. That's
and
right.
Lorne Green had a song too.
Yeah?
What's Wrong with Ringo?
What's Wrong with Ringo was a song that he made? Horse did that song?
No, Jimmy. What's his name?
Which
You
guy?
said Lorne Green.
Oh, Lorne Green did it.
Right.
Yeah. Let me ask you something. Do you remember, and this is a thing, I mean,
Okay.
we don't even have no more telephone booths in the street, but they had something, all the college kids went crazy.
For
What,
some reason,
what do you
they
think
were-
they did?
They all jumped in. They filled up the telephone booth with as many people as they could.
And they actually laid on top of each other.
I know.
With their
it was a
feet
crazy
sticking
thing,
out.
I know.
Guy would be dying on the bottom of that thing. That's how you get claustrophobia. That's how
Right,
I got. I was on the
exactly.
bottom of that telephone booth at one time. That's why I'm so thin today, you know. But anyway, 59, great year. And let me take a look at something else here, Paulie. You mentioned a lot of things. Here's something interesting.
Well,
Gunsmoke,
Right.
Wagon Train, Have Gun Will Travel, the Danny Thomas Show you said before,
Right.
Red Skelton Show.
Right. Funny guy.
He was funny. How about Father Knows Best, 77 Sunset Strip,
We said-
Price is Right,
Of course, Ed Sullivan.
Perry Mason.
Perry Mason.
Comes
a
out in
mystery.
1959. Yep. The Ed Sullivan Show.
Wow.
I'm going to say about greatest show in the
Ever.
history of TV. And was never, he was a writer for the newspaper.
Right. And do you know that show broadcast in 1948 and went all the way to 1971?
Just unbelievable, right? And the theater is still there today with David
It is,
Letterman.
exactly.
The Ed Sullivan Theater. I was on that theater stage many, many times because when we did the Cerebral Palsy Telethon, we broadcast from there.
Right.
And they also broadcast from NBC from the Saturday Night Live.
Live.
We did it also. So now we continue. You mentioned about the guys, the teen idols.
Yes.
Okay? Teen idols were really prevalent in 1959.
Yes.
Tell us about one of them.
Well, this is one of the most popular guys by far from Philadelphia. A guy whose real name was Roberto Rittarelli, better
Yep.
known as.
Of course, Bobby Rydell.
And the man had over 40 hit records. But we're going to see a video of his first appearance on American Bandstand when his first record came out, which was Kissin' Time
Yeah.
in 1959.
I want you to take a look at his hairstyle. Right? Today he has no hair, like
No,
us.
Right.
But at that time, he had what I call that ice cream hair color.
Exactly.
You know,
It
that's
was,
what
yeah, sure
You all
was.
set?
I'm all set.
Mr. Bobby Rydell.
Please, if you can, come join us. We're going to have some fun. The first young man out tonight, I think, is probably the one, if not the most, one of the most promising young talents in the music business. Multi-talented young man. Ladies and gentlemen, the man who created Kissin' Time, here's Bobby Rydell.
We're kissing in Cleveland, Kansas City too. They're wearing in Wildwood, back in Waterloo. They're shooting on lovers, even in St. Louis. So baby, get ready, I'm kissing you. Oh baby, 'cause summertime is kissing time. You driving you to Baltimore. Rocking and dancing, land and sea and shore. Denver to Detroit, bell of the door. So forget it, baby, what I'm waiting for. All the summertime is kissing time, USA.
Thank you, Bobby. He's a swinger, I tell you.
Bobby Rittarelli,
Yes.
and that's Bobby right there. Did you notice his hairstyle?
Yes.
Now, not only did he have that hairstyle, if you took a look at Fabian, his dear friend,
Yo, yeah.
he had another one like a curlicue Carvel ice cream cone hairstyle. Frankie Avalon was a little bit different. Frankie had that dark hair comb
Yeah, it
back,
was a little
you know?
different style.
A little different
Yeah.
style, but everybody had that pompadour that was pulled down at
That was the
59,
big
you know?
style, right?
Yeah, big style with the Garrison belts and the dungaree pants, you know, rolled up cuffs, and
Right.
guys had those shirts on with a cigarette, carrying a cigarette in the arm part
Yeah,
of it, you know.
sleeve, right.
Yeah, I want to tell you a little bit about birthdays. You know who had birthdays? 1959.
I think I do. I think Magic Johnson was born in 59.
Yeah. Who else do you know?
Irene Cara,
Yeah.
Sheena Easton.
Gene Easton. Yeah. Anybody else? I'll tell you.
Who else?
You want a hero? Okay. Here's a list. How about Randy Travis?
Oh, wow, the country
All
singer.
right, the country singer. He was born April 27th, 59.
Interesting.
How about Sean Cassidy?
Oh, really? The Cassidy family, yeah.
Yep. He was born September 27th.
Okay.
It's almost his birthday now. Erwin Magic Johnson, you mentioned, right?
Right.
Okay. John McEnroe, the famous
Oh.
tennis player. When do you think he was born? February 16th. Jim McCann, the football player.
Mm-hmm.
Lawrence Taylor,
Oh,
the other
wow.
football player, right? Fred Couples, who was a top golfer. Let me see who else you're going to know here. Linda Blair.
Oh, yeah.
You remember Linda Blair? What was she famous for?
She was from The Exorcist.
The Exorcist. Remember that picture I
Yeah.
had turned around?
Yeah, it was
threw up?
crazy, yeah.
That was really pea soup.
I know it was. I know it was.
That thing got me, oh, man, it was a terrible part of the movie. Let me see who else you know here. Jessica Hahn. Jessica Hahn, you remember who she was?
She's a great actress.
That was their secretary. And let me see. Maria Osmond.
Oh,
Osmond.
wow, Marie Osmond.
Yeah, from the Osmond family. And Florence Griffin Joyner. Let me tell you a little bit about her.
Flojo.
She was FloJo. She was the Olympic star. I
Right.
met her when a baby was just born in Hawaii. We were doing something for Diamond Head Theater. She was such a wonderful woman. I met her
Wow.
and her husband. And then not too long after that, she had passed on.
Wow. That was
Cancer.
insane. That was
Yeah,
a tragedy.
yeah.
I remember she passed away.
And then Tim Burton, who was a director, born in Burbank, California.
Right. Who
That
did
was
The Nightmare Before
1959,
Christmas,
yeah.
right? And
One of the greatest artists had a great song. Female.
one of the she is the biggest female artist selling artist in music history.
Yes, yes.
And of course, 1958 is the first year she came out. She had her first big hit was Who's Sorry Now. Then she had Stupid Cupid
Yep.
and Frankie.
Frankie, My Darling.
Right. But then in 59 she continued again. Had a whole bunch of hits. A lot of her songs were written by.
Oh,
You know who-
Neil Sedaka wrote
and
some of
Harry
the songs.
Greenfield, yeah.
Yep. Now, the song that we're going to see her singing now was which one, Paul?
Lipstick on Your Collar.
Yeah, great song. And, of course, I think that Lipstick on Your Collar, I don't know who exactly wrote it. I think Neil Sedaka might have been involved with,
Yeah,
with that
he
song
was.
as well, right?
Mhm.
And one of the things, the diary, was
Yes.
something a little bit different. They thought it was about getting into the diary box of it was,
And that's Funicello?
no,
Connie
no,
Francis?
Connie Francis diary, yep. And then he also wrote a song called Oh Carol,
Right.
Neil, about Carole King,
Carole King, right.
who I was in her house as well. I knew Neil Sedaka, Carole King, all these people, because
Right.
I shared that at that time, back in the Brill Building.
And just going back to one other thing for a minute, Frankie, My Darling was about Frankie Avalon.
Yes, they were writing songs back and forth,
Yep.
you know. Another pop guy at the time, we'll see him a little bit later on, probably in the show, is Mr. Paul Anka.
Yes.
He wrote about everybody, and he loved Annette Funicello,
know
another
he
great
did.
teen idol.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
he wrote Puppy Love, in fact, for her.
Yep, great song. So right now, here's what we're going to do. We're going to do something with Connie Francis.
Yes.
The name of the song is?
Lipstick on Your Collar.
Let's watch it.
When you left me all alone at the record house, told me you were going out for a soda pop. You were gone for quite a while, half an hour more. You came
Boy, do I love that song, Lipstick
too.
on Your Collar. You had to be very careful in those days, just in case you had a girlfriend and you see somebody there on the side, and
Right.
golly, you were in trouble.
It's
You
like,
know
like
that.
Connie said, right?
That's why I was always a good guy. You know that. Anyway, you know what? In those days, in 1959, some great songs were on the top of the charts. See if you remember these. What do you think was number one in 59? I'll name it. The guy's name was Bobby Darin.
So it have to be Mac the Knife. then.
Mac the Knife,
No question
okay.
About it.
If I said to you Johnny Horton,
The Battle of New Orleans.
that's number two. If I mentioned Frankie Avalon,
Venus.
correct, number three. If I mentioned Lloyd Price,
Stagger Lee.
you got it, number four. If I mentioned the Browns,
The Bells.
you got it. How about, here's a tough one because you had a lot of hits. Number one, actually it was number five on the charts, 59 at that time, was Paul Anka had a song called?
Lonely Boy?
Yep, you got
That's
it.
right. Okay, it was a guess because
Yeah,
there were
right.
so many.
Group that came from Washington State,
The Fleetwoods.
Fleetwoods. They had a big hit. It was
They-
number seven at that time, was called?
Come Softly to Me.
You got it. And eventually went all the way to number one
and
as
so
well.
did Mr. Blue. They were
Right,
both
that's
number
right.
one records.
Now here's a tough one. Platters had a lot of songs. This one was number 8 on the charts at 59.
Twilight Time?
Close, No Cigar.
Smoke It in Your Eyes?
You got it, right there. How about Guy Mitchell?
Singing the Blues.
Nope, close, No Cigar. What do you think it was? Has something to do with agita. Heartaches.
Heartaches by the Number.
You got it, okay. And Santo and Johnny come up with a gigantic instrumental called
Sleepwalk.
Sleepwalk. Those were the top 10. If you go a little bit ahead, you got Wilbur Harrison with Kansas City. Elvis did A Big Hunk of Love. Mr. Blue was the Fleetwoods. Why by Frankie Avalon. Tell me something interesting about that song,
We're going to play that.
okay?
Let's save that for the end of the night when we play that clip. Because it's special.
We'll save it? We'll save it for
it's
the
a
end.
special thing
Okay,
we'll
we have a
save.
little special thing
Yeah.
on that, okay? And then you got Davy Baby
Tez
Cortez.
with the Happy Organ.
Happy Organ.
And
You get
Ricky
about
Dink.
a 98 on the test tonight. How's
Thank
that,
you.
Paul? You didn't do too bad,
No,
right?
I didn't.
Tell me about our next clip.
Our next clip is a group that were called the Clown Princes of Rock and Roll,
Oh, the Coasters.
the Coasters, who right now are starring in the new production of Smokey Joe's Cafe, by the way.
They were out here.
And a group, again, had a lot of hits, from Searchin'
Mm-hmm.
to Yakety Yak,
Right.
to Baby That Is Rock and Roll, Love Potion Number 9, so on and so forth. But this was the number one record in 1959. It talked a little about the clown in the classroom.
Yes.
And they called him Charlie Brown.
You all set for him?
Yes.
Okay, so get ready right now. We return to the classroom with the Coasters.
No, but I think you'll find no matter where you go to school, there's always a fellow who writes on the blackboard when he shouldn't and maybe gives the teacher a little lip, and he's a character about which they wrote this song. His name happens to be Charlie Brown here to perform it. Ladies and gentlemen, here are the Coasters.
I smell smoke in the auditorium. Charlie Brown, he's a clown. That's Charlie Brown. He's gonna get drunk. Just you wait and see.
Why is everybody always picking on me?
That's him on his feet. I know that's him. Getting 7 from 11 down in the boys' gym. Charlie Brown, he's a clown. That's Charlie Brown. He's gonna get drunk. Just you wait and see.
Why is everybody always picking on me?
Who's always writing on the wall? Who's always pooping in the hall? Who's always throwing spit balls? Guess who? Who walks in the classroom cool and slow? Who calls the English teacher daddy-o? Charlie Brown, he's a clown. That's Charlie Brown. He's gonna get down. Just you wait and see.
Why is everybody always picking on me?
Walks in the classroom
always picking on me.
Oh, poor old Charlie Brown. Why is everybody always picking on me? Always seems that a Charlie Brown type character always gets his just desserts in the end. What's all the excitement now? Panic up there and the... Oh, I know.
Boy, I love that Coasters. What a great sound. Huh?
Yep.
Paulie, how time goes by when you're having fun. We're running this show for Cablevision, you know?
Right, yep.
So we're going to be leaving, but then we're going to return in other areas of the country. How's that, Paulie?
Yep.
All right? Always a pleasure to be with you. And,
Always a
Paulie,
pleasure,
there's only
Mickey.
one thing I can say. I love that sound of that good old music there, Paul.
Me
Huh?
too.
Yeah, that old rock and roll. Good night, sweetheart. It's time. It's time to go.
Okay.
1959, great era of rock and roll, Paul. Huh?
Yes.
See Ollie's hand? Look at this. Twixie 12. Go ahead, this one.
Night, sweetheart. Well, it's time
Yeah.
to go.
Oh, boy.
Good night, sweetheart.
So we're gonna open up with Frank
It's time
Sinatra.
to go.
Yeah.
I hate to leave you. I really must say, oh, good night, sweetheart. Good night. Well,
Ladies and gentlemen, our national anthem.
Bum 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 bum, a clang lang lang, a ding along ding dong blue, blue blue.
Pull up the car, stop the traffic, get out the barricades. It's time for Mickey B's Jukebox Review.
Rock and roll is here to stay, he'll never let it die. Right here on the radio, that's the reason why. It's Mickey for you and he'll go down in history.
On, of course, the show right here, MadhouseTV.com, if you're watching on the internet,
Yes.
you know. And you got Mickey B here to Prince of Rock and Roll with Paulie, my historian.
Yep.
And a lot of these shows are now being filmed also for Cablevision.
That's
You know
right,
that, Paul,
Channel
right?
20, Long Island.
1959, great year.
Yes.
When I talk to you about people who were on the movie top 10,
Mm-hmm.
right? Who do you think they were? Give me some names. Who do you think was number one?
I mean,
He played in a lot of these movies that had
Rock Hudson?
Rock Hudson. How'd you know that? Rock Hudson, absolutely. And then came the, hey, Judy, 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 Judy. What was his name? You remember his name? Number two. Cary
Cary Grant.
Grant, right. Number 3 was James Stewart. I don't know how to do that. Doris Day was number 4. Debbie Reynolds,
Tammy.
married to Eddie Fisher,
Yep.
got divorced. Whole riot started with Elizabeth Taylor
Yes.
and her and the whole
big
deal and
thing,
everything.
yep.
Big thing over there. Glenn Ford. Glenn Ford was great. Now this guy, number 7, played in a movie called From Here to Eternity. His name?
What is it?
Frank Sinatra.
Oh, yeah.
That really made Frank those days when he was on that beach with those love scenes and all
Yes,
that kind
that
of
was
stuff
his
going
whole
on. Yeah.
thing. Yeah, that was his.
Now listen to this. In 1959, the 10 box office stars of 59, this guy was a comedian, the biggest comedian of all time, early 50s. First name starts with J. Jerry
Lewis.
Okay. And then number 10 was Susan Hayward.
Oh, beautiful woman.
Beautiful woman. Okay. So 1959, a great year. And of course, that movie Ben Hur came out
Yes.
in that time, right? With and I met him, Charlton Heston.
Oh, really?
Ever tell you the story of Charlton Heston? 1992, I'm with Charlton Heston on a beach in Hawaii.
Wow.
Because we raised money for the Diamond Head Theater. And I saw Charlton Heston on a tennis court. And I walked over to him, a tall guy. He must have been about,
I
don't
know
how
he's a tall guy.
He's been like 6'4", you know, because I was 5'8.5".
Right.
And I'm looking up at him, right? And I said, Charlton, if there was ever anybody I ever wanted to meet in this world, 2 people, you're one of them. It was Elvis Presley and Moses, and you come the closest to it. So that was, but he was a nice guy, real nice man.
Was
you
he?
know?
Wow.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
an honor to meet somebody
Now
like
tell
that.
me, also, there was a good song. We were mentioning songs before, and one of the songs that I happened to like was a song by Lloyd Price.
Me too.
Which one?
It's a song about a gambler.
Yeah, oh, that was good old Staggerly.
Right, exactly.
But he had other songs before. He had Personality.
Oh, Lordy
Big
Miss
song.
Lordy.
Yes.
Not Too Young to Get Married, Just Because, Where Were You on Our Wedding Day?
Tremendous entertainer.
Oh,
and
still great.
And he was first. He was before Little Richard on Specialty
He
Records.
was in, Lordy Miss Lordy came out in 52. Goes
Uh-huh.
back that far, Lloyd Price.
And Lloyd is out there still today.
He is.
And he's packing in the places.
He really is. He's still great, looks great, sounds great, great personality.
And he's a nice guy.
Very, very nice.
And his son lives out here somewhere in Long Island.
Long Island, yep.
As well, right?
Yep.
Are you all set to rock and roll?
I'm rocking. Let's rock and roll with Lloyd Price.
Let's bring it in with a little Staggerly. Here's Lloyd Price.
The night was clear, and the moon was yellow, and the leaves came tumbling down. I was standing on the corner when I heard my brother. He was walking up to me and was gambling in the dark, and it went up. They were standing in the lake. Two men who gamble late. He threw 7 billions for that. He threw away. Look at that. Staggerly told me this. I can't let you go with that. You want all of my money and my brand new stuff to have. Look at that. Staggerly started off going down that railroad tracks. He said, I can't get you million, but don't be here when I come back. Look at that. Yeah, 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 yeah. Staggerly, he went home, picked up his money full, said, I'm going to the bottom just to pay that debt out. Yeah. Staggerly, he went to the bottom, stood across the bottom door. He said, nobody move. And he pulled out his 44. Here we go. Billy, big price tag. Staggerly, please don't take my life. I got 3 little children and a very sickly wife. Go, Staggerly, he shot Billy. Oh, he shot that poor boy so bad. Till the bullet came through Billy. And it broke him on his back. Go, Stag, yeah, 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 yeah.
You know, I love that Lloyd Price, but I was just
Me too.
reading here, you know, about 1959,
Right.
great era. So they were talking about these best-selling books
Right.
you weren't even born in 59, but
No.
in fiction, a book
Uh-huh.
comes out called Exodus by Leon Uris.
Right.
Dr. Zhivago.
That was a big one,
was a
sure.
big one, yeah. That's Boris Pasternak. Hawaii was written by James Michener.
Mm-hmm.
Advice and Consent by Alan Drury. Lady Chatterley's Lover, which was by D.H. Lawrence.
Right, that was a big
That's
one.
in comparison to 50 Shades of Grey today.
Right,
You know,
exactly,
something like
yeah.
that, right? Yeah, The Ugly American. I mean, I saw that movie.
Right.
That was with Marlon Brando. That was a real. Everybody hated the America. We talk about it in the beginning of the '60s, and it's still to today carries forward. I mean, this
Right.
thing, we just can't get rid of that hatred, you
No,
know.
unfortunately.
Dear and Glorious Physician, Lolita.
Yes.
That was a good book they had out there, and you know, in nonfiction,
Mhm.
there's some movies like Act One and Status Seekers, 2 Cents Plain, and so many others, you know. But Paulie, as we continue in music,
Yes,
tell me
as
about
we
the next act
continue-
we're going to be talking about.
In music, the next group we're going to talk about, you see where we're at here, you know, because we just switch things around a little bit sometimes. Going back to one of the smoothest sounding groups of the 1950s.
I could tell that right away. Talk about the Platters.
No, we're not.
That's exactly what it meant. Never the Platters. But then if it's not the Platters, it's the Flamingos.
Exactly.
Yeah.
They were known as the Sultans of Smooth.
Yeah, they were great. I mean, they had that shabbat shabbat.
Yes.
Doo doo.
They had a very pretty, mellow sound. Now, but here's the interesting thing. You mentioned Shubop Shabop, which of course is I Only Have Eyes for You.
Right.
That was an old standard from a Dick Powell movie from 1934
Really, from 34.
that they took the Flamingos, you know, took it and brought it to N Records and said, "This is our arrangement." Terry Johnson did the arrangement on it
Right.
and said, "We want to bring the song back to life," and it was a huge hit for them. And in fact, the clip we're going to see was from the winter of 1959 because you see when the Flamingos are dressed in winter outfits.
Yeah. Who's on lead at that particular time?
That was Nate Nelson.
That was Nate Nelson. Nelson brothers were around at that
The
time.
Carey brothers.
The Carey brothers and
And of course Terry Johnson.
Terry Johnson, who's out there today
Right.
with
still
the group as well.
Flamingos, yep.
So you all set?
It's
We'll
all
go to the
set.
winter scene as they're out there. I guess they're around a fireplace.
The fireplace, yeah, it's a good clip.
And they're doing I Only Have Eyes for You. Here's the Flamingos.
Of all of the songs around, sometimes the old ones I think are interesting, especially when they're redone in a different manner. Many of you, I'm sure, will remember this tune. It's a very old song. I Only Have Eyes for You. And to do it, here are the Flamingos.
My love must be a kind of blind love. I can't see anyone but you. Shabam, shabam. Shabam, shabam. Shabam, shabam. Shabam, shabam. Are the stars out tonight? I don't know if it's cloudy or bright. I only have the moon may be high, but I can't see a thing.
maybe millions of people go by, but they all disappear from view. And I only have eyes for you.
Thank you, fellas, very much.
I Only Have Eyes for You. Great song in 1959.
Yes.
Paulie, let me tell you something. I've been looking up here in fashion. Fashion of 59. Everybody was talking about bows and headbands.
Right, that's what the girls wore, not the guys.
Accented, fashionable heads everywhere. And how about, listen to this. Here's something. Do you remember? I'm just looking at this because it was a great song. The sack and the chemise dress. You remember what that chemise dress looked like?
No Chemise, Please was
Yeah,
the
yeah.
song.
It was like a small waistline, and,
Right.
and it came out
It
at the
came out,
side.
right. That was
and
Jerry
who was the guy who
Granahan.
wrote Jerry Granahan?
Granahan.
That's right. And Jerry also sang with another group.
Dickie doing the
Dickie
Don'ts.
doing the
Look back.
Don'ts. Yeah, yeah.
Just going back to I Only Have Eyes for 1 second. Like I
Mhm.
said, that song was a movie from 1934 that starred Dick Power and Ruby Keeler. And the name of the movie was called Dames. It was the #1 song in 1934, too.
Mm-hmm. Now, here's something
Little bit
interesting.
different.
I'm taking a look at this now. It didn't tell us who really starred in it, but the top grossing films of 59 and their earnings. Now, listen to these movies. Today, I mean, a movie earns 100 million, 150
Of
million.
course they do.
What do you think the #1 movie of 1959 called Auntie Mame earned?
$1 million?
8,800,000.
Okay.
Today would have been 125 million.
Right.
See the differences?
Mm-hmm.
Shaggy Dog earned $7.8 million.
Wow.
7,800,000, I'm sorry. Some Like It Hot. You know who was in that movie?
Who was that?
I love it. Tony Curtis,
Oh, yeah.
Jack Lemmon, and Marilyn Monroe.
Oh, wow. It was
What a
good
movie that was,
yeah.
right? Imitation of Life. This was a sad, sad story.
Was it, yeah?
Very sad story. About and I forgot who played in it, but it's the original one
Mm-hmm.
was about a light-skinned daughter. She was black,
Mm-hmm.
but didn't want anybody to know
Wow.
that her mother was a black woman because she was darker.
Mm.
Until her mother died,
Wow,
and
that
she
must
ran
be
after the
something else.
coffin. It is one of the best movies that you could ever see, and it's aired every once in a while. When you see Imitation of Life, make sure you watch that movie. The Nun Story was a $6 million seller. Anatomy of Murder, North by Northwest, Rio Bravo, Sleeping Beauty, and Some Came Running. What great, great movies. I love
Yep.
those sounds. Tell me a little bit about our next clip that we have.
Going back to the Teen Idols, he's a gentleman who came out of Ottawa, Canada.
Mm-hmm.
Tremendous talent. I mean, songwriter extraordinaire. I mean, tons and tons of hit records. Now, this happens to be one of my favorite songs by him, which is Lonely Boy.
Yeah.
And here we are again on American Bandstand. And
Mm-hmm.
you wouldn't have seen these people. We would have these clips nowadays to show.
And Paul Anka today is bigger than ever.
He is.
And no matter where he appears around the country, he's sold out.
Sold out. Yep,
Sold
so
out.
does.
And does all those songs back again.
Yes.
Plus some newer things
Right.
that he's doing, right?
Yes.
So you said Lonely Boy was the key, right?
Yep.
You all set to watch it?
Yep.
Mr. Paul Anka, ladies and gentlemen.
I'm just a lonely boy, lonely and blue. I'm all alone, with nothing to do. I've got everything you could think of, but all I want is someone to love. Someone, yes, someone to love. to do. I got everything you think of, but all I want is someone to love. Somebody, 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 please send her to me. I'll make her happy. Just wait and see. I prayed so hard to the heavens above that I might find someone to love. I'm just a lonely boy, lonely and blue. I'm all alone, with nothing to
Paul Anka, what a talented guy.
Yes, he
huh?
was.
Like you said before, writer, producer, singer, did it all.
Yep.
The only thing I don't notice, I don't remember if Paul Anka, they all had the footsteps. I don't know how good of a great dancer
He really wasn't. That wasn't.
Yeah, he wasn't noted
too
for
much
the
of a dancer, no.
footwork. Yeah, like a guy like Bobby Darin. Bobby
Right.
Darin was moving his feet around
Yeah,
and
he
all.
was.
You know, we talk about some stuff. We just came off a show with Patrick.
Yes,
Theater,
great show we had last
and I can
Saturday.
notice that the dancing steps now of Kid Kyle.
He was great. He was tremendous.
He looks great. He looks like a cadet. He's got no waistline. He's like Mickey B, no waistline at all, you know. I said on the stage, it's before and after.
He had a nice suit, a nice blue suit on with that white piping.
Yeah, and he's
really,
such a
really
nice
sharp.
guy. Not only that, he does that exercise. You know, you get into those kicks and the moves and
Yeah,
the
he's
grooves.
great, great moves.
Yeah,
he
everybody
has.
loves him, man. He's a real gentleman. He's great.
He really is.
Make sure you catch him wherever Kid Kyle goes. And we also had a great show. I mean, the show was just phenomenal, you know. Yeah. we
Lala
had
Brooks was
Lala Brooks was
full
there.
of energy, blew the
she's,
roof off
she's
the
super.
place.
She's super. And you got Lala, and you have also
The Encounters.
the Encounters did a superb
They
job.
really
the
did. They
acapella.
did some really good songs.
You know, a lot of people like the Royal Teens.
Somebody different you don't see all the time.
Yeah.
Got a lot of songs
They
too,
did
Mick,
the
you know.
Who Wears Short Shorts.
And Big Name Button.
Big Name Button. Harvey's Got a Girlfriend. That was
Believe
something.
Me. Yeah, that was really good.
They did Blanche again.
Yes.
Once You Took a Chance. And let me see who else we have. Capri's.
They're very good.
Capri's did a great job. Most Cold Love, Moon Out Again, Moon Out Tonight.
Right.
All those great songs, you know. Unfortunately, Emil Stucchio in the Classics couldn't make it.
Right.
And we pray for Emil's daughter.
Right.
All right, in the hospital right now. So
And then we also had the Duprees, of course, as the headliners.
yeah, Dupree's are just fantastic. Dupree's did a couple of changes for
Yes,
some
they
of the
did
songs.
a great show.
Yeah.
In fact, they did 3 of my favorite Dupree songs, which they hardly ever do. They did It's No Sin,
Right.
It Isn't Fair, and The Sand in the Sea.
Yeah.
Which
Then
are
they,
3 great
Then they
tunes.
did a song called Check
Check Yourself.
Yourself.
That's an original tune, you know, that Phil Granito did with Angel Rizzo.
Was it reading way back? Check Yourself. I thought that somebody else had recorded that before those guys.
That was their original
Check
song.
Yourself, huh? Great
They
song.
were great. The whole show was really, really
Yeah.
good.
You know, we have a show that's coming up at the
Belmore Theater.
Belmore Theater with
October
Emil
11th.
Stucchio and the Classics and Teresa McLean.
Right.
Comedian Jackie Fontana's coming.
And Johnny
And we just
T.
had on Johnny T called Everything's Italian. So
Right.
make sure you come out and see
Check it
that
out.
show. We were raising money for Cooley's and Eamon that night, you know.
Yes.
Yeah. For tickets and information, 516-822-9612. You know, not only is this show now on madhousetv.com, but it's also being aired for Cablevision.
Right.
So you could check it out on cable. You check your little TV guide there or something,
Right.
you know. They usually have it on the screen, I
Yes,
guess, right?
they
Yeah.
do.
And then, of course, all around the world with us.
Right.
Paulie, right? Tell me a little bit about the next song. we're gonna hear.
Okay. One of the greatest entertainers, bar none, of all time, Jackie Wilson.
Oh, what are you going to say about this guy? He recorded for one record label, the Brunswick record
Brunswick
label.
record
He was a
label.
Golden Glove boxer, okay? He was fast on his feet.
Right.
I
Dance
guess
moves like no one else ever
like
had.
nobody had. I always loved that, the coat over the shoulder.
So that was his trademark.
Right? Did those splits.
Oh man, and that he had a big pompadour hairdo also.
And you want to talk about a guy who had a voice that went from,
Oh,
he
man.
could sing opera, he could sing country, he could sing
Ballads.
ballads, rock and roll, up-tempo, anything you
everything.
wanted. Was this, and what's the name of the song we're going to see him do this time?
Here he is, as he was known as Mr. Excitement, doing That Is Why I Love You So.
That's Why I Love You So. I love that too.
On the Ed Sullivan Show, this was too.
Let's go right now. Back to the theater there. I guess it's on 52nd
Yep,
Street, right?
exactly.
Okay, Ed Sullivan Theater at the time, Mr. Jackie Wilson.
can a poor man be? That is why. That is why. That is why. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I want the world to know the way you love my back when I'm in pain, the way you soothe me so I won't complain, and when you kiss me with your ruby red lips, it thrills me so I turn a back over flip. But that is why. That is why. Don't you know, baby? Yeah. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I want the world to know. Now if Shakespeare thought that Juliet really loved Romeo from the time they met, he would blow his top if he could see just how you've been loving me. The way you love my back when I'm in pain, the way you soothe me so I won't complain, and when you kiss me with your ruby red lips, it thrills me so I turn a back over flip. But that is why. That is why. Come on now, baby. Yeah. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I want you to take it easy, baby. Take it easy, honey. Yeah, don't you know now? Yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean, don't stop the music. Let's go. That is why. Come on now, honey. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I want the world to know.
Well, you know that, Paul. He learned from me with those fancy steps and
Right.
that little back groovy type of thing over there. You know,
That was great.
When Phil Granito does it with the Jackie
He does
Wilson
with the
medley, you know that.
Duprees, yep.
You can see where he picked up these clips,
Sure.
the footwork from Mr. Jackie Wilson.
Yes.
Yeah, Jackie was great.
He was.
Jackie was really in good shape.
He was in great shape. He was a boxer.
He was a boxer, yeah.
So now, Mickey, that was a fast, up-tempo side of rock and roll. Now we're going to go to the ballad side of rock and roll.
Yeah.
But I would say the greatest ballad group
Mm-hmm.
of the 50s, because all the hits were slow or medium tempo songs. Of course, we're talking about the Platters. Here's a song that you don't see all the time. One of their lesser hits, but just as good as the big hits. A song called "Remember When."
Oh, this is a good song.
It is.
And it has Herb Reed doing that bass part,
Yes,
right?
at the end. Yep.
Tony Williams on lead.
Yes.
Zola Taylor's in there.
David Lynch
And Paul Roby. Here are the Platters.
We bring you one of the outstanding rock and roll acts in the nation, the Platters.
Remember when I first met you? My lips were so afraid to say I love you. Remember when, to my surprise, the heaven in my heart leaped into your eyes. Remember how much I cried, tears of joy to think you were mine. Darling, down deep inside, I still feel that feeling divine. I loved you then, and I still do. I can't remember when I didn't love you. Remember how much I cried, tears of joy to think you were mine. Darling, down deep inside, I still feel that feeling divine. I loved you then, and I
Boy, do I remember that song so well. The greatest group of rock and roll history, the Platters.
That's right.
And Paulie, time goes by when you're having fun.
Always.
Once again, it's twilight time. Right here with Mickey B, the Prince of Rock and Roll. Hope you enjoyed the show tonight, and for all those people on Cablevision, you may stay tuned with us all the time. And, of course, on MadhouseTV.com. And until the next time, Paulie, from Frankie D,
Paul Arante,
and Mickey B, there's only one thing I could say.
Good night, sweetheart. Well, it's time to go home. Good night, sweetheart. Well, it's time to go home. I hate to leave you, but I really must say, oh, good night, sweetheart. Good night. Good night, sweetheart. Well, it's time to go home. Good night, sweetheart. Well, it's time to go home. I hate to leave you, I really must say, oh, good night, sweetheart. Good night. Well, it's 3 o'clock in the morning. Baby, I just can't get right. Well, I hate to leave you, baby. I don't mean maybe, because I love you so. Good night, sweetheart. Well, it's time to go. Good night, sweetheart. Well, it's time to go. I hate to leave you, I really must say, oh, good night, sweetheart.
Ladies and gentlemen, our national anthem.